Okay. Yeah. This the Brad and Memory Show. 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 In the field with my dogs, like the Sixers, we gon' ball. Wake up early in the morning, tune in anytime at all. Hard time, all season, don't believe in off seasons. Watch the Phillies, watch the Flyers, and the Eagles on the weekends, yeah. This is not your ordinary radio show. Ain't just talking sports, we be talking about the culture. All across the globe, anything you wanna cover. This is for the fans, no room for the front runners. This the Brad and Memory Show. Yeah, this the Brad and Memory Show. Yeah, this the Brad and Memory Show. Yeah, this the Brad and Memory Show. Yeah. You know the vibes.
Yes, sir. You know the vibes. Brad and Memory Show. Marcus Bradham, Justin Emery.
Yo.
Oh, man. Here we are. Wednesday. If you want to call it a World Series Wednesday, you can call it that if you're a Philadelphia Phillies fan or Houston Astros fan, because it's a World Series Wednesday. Wow. So much to unpack from the Padres series. Because we haven't been on in a while. It feels like forever. I'm not surprised by the outcome of that series. I thought it was an extremely favorable matchup for the Phillies. I'm surprised it only went 5. I thought it would be 6 or 7, probably 6. I am surprised by that. But, I mean, the Phillies just absolutely, if you look at it, if you're really realistic about what you actually saw, they dominated that series. It was a dominant performance by the Phillies. From top to bottom, really. I mean, you take out, if you really take out game 2, where the Phillies jumped out to a 4-0 lead and blew that lead, they could have swept them. They very easily could have swept that series. But there are also games that, 2 of the games at Citizens Bank Park obviously could have went either way. But for the most part, the Phillies handled them. But again, it was a good match. It was a favorable match for the Phillies because you look at the Padres lineup. What is it really? You got 2 guys you really have to worry about. It's Juan Soto, it's Manny Machado, and maybe Josh Bell. But those are the 2 guys you're really scared of. Everyone else, you can kind of pretty much pitch around. Their lineup is extremely top heavy. It's not balanced at all. You're not going to see that on Friday, and we'll get into that a little bit. But their lineup is extremely top heavy. They don't really have top to bottom a lot of balance, so you pitch around them. And the Phillies did, for the most part, the pitching was really good. I'm really excited and encouraged by what I saw out of Ranger Suarez this series. He did not have a good outing at all at Atlanta. Definitely made up for that and then some with his performance in game 3 and his performance at, obviously, to close the series out in game 5. So that's encouraging, especially going in this series, because this is it's a World Series, number one. It's all hands on deck, but you're really going to need more out of guys like that to deal with this Houston Astros team. But, I mean, listen, if you would have sat here and told me in the beginning of the playoff run that the Philadelphia Phillies would have a chance to knock down every wall from 7 to 11, I would have said you're out of your mind. Let's go through this realistically here. So, first time in the playoffs since 2011. First playoff home games 2011. First playoff win since 2011. First NLCS appearance in 2010. First World Series appearance in 2009. And now you have a chance for your first World Championships in 2008. All in one year. All in the span of 3 weeks, which is way beyond my expectations of what I thought this was capable of. But hey, listen, do they feel like they have the magic? Yes. But they're also playing really good baseball. If you've noticed, and this is a result of the playoffs, and I feel a result of just better approach, and maybe you can thank the hitting coach Kevin Long for this. The approaches to their bats have been really, really good 1 through 9. You have rarely seen in this playoff run bad at bats from the Phillies, wasted at bats. That doesn't mean you don't strike out, you don't get out the end of the bat, But your at bats, as the game mean more, your at bats need to mean something. You can't have a wasted plate appearance. You can have a good plate appearance. You can have an eight pitch at bat and strike out at the end of it. But you know what? You made the pitcher work for it. That's what you're seeing. And I expect that from Reese. I expect the bats like that from Segura. But you're getting the bats like that from guys like Stott. You're getting the bats like that from Bohm. You're getting the bats like that from Marsh. You're getting really quality at bats and making these pitches really work. Foul off pitches, battling, really, really good stuff. And I mean, I'm gonna let you jump in here in a second, but like, I don't know what your feelings are, but like, I understand why the Astros are the favorites. They should be the favorites. They are the better team. By how much? I don't know. I feel personally they're the best team in baseball. I think they're the most balanced team in baseball. They remind me a lot of those late '90s, late '90s Yankees teams where there are no weaknesses. 1 through 9, no weaknesses. Pitching, no weaknesses. Defense, no weaknesses. They are extremely balanced. They remind me a lot, like again, a lot of those that '96, '98, 2000 Yankee squad, where it's going to be a battle. However, I do believe. Listen, when you're in the series, you got a shot anyway because you're just there. However, this isn't the '98 Yankees versus the '98 Padres type of situation where it's like, okay, this is not going to go well. They got a shot here. You got Wheeler and Nola. Nola starting game 1 looks like Nola Wheeler. You got a shot. You do. So I mean, you jump in here and tell me what you think.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around the fact that we sat here on September 16th and said that if the Phillies did not make the playoffs, that we were banning Phillies talk. And then you fast forward 38 days later, and we're sitting here looking at a World Series Game 1 in about 55 hours, give or take.
Yeah.
So I'm still coming to terms. Like, I still can't believe that, you had 200 win teams in in the National League.
Yeah.
You had 2 Titans in your own division that had better odds. You had a team that lost 50 games in the Dodgers, something like that. 50.
They won 110, I believe.
I think they won 111.
Okay, so that's 111.50.
Like, that's crazy,
insane.
But the bracket shook out the way that you needed to shake out.
The last team to make the playoffs, also the 6th seed, and the Cardinals aren't a slouch either.
No,
they weren't a slouch.
You're not here unless the National League has the designated hitter. You're not here unless the Major League Baseball implements their third wild card, which we both have our feelings about that. But I mean, we didn't make the rules,
right?
So I still haven't really grasped it. If I'm being 100% honest with you, I still can't really.
Fair. That's completely.
I still can't I was talking to my dad on Monday, and on Monday, and I was like, I still can't believe that the Phillies are in the World Series, and he goes, he's like, there are better teams in the National League than the Phillies. He's like, but there's not a hotter team.
1,000%.
But
that's the difference between baseball and hockey and football and basketball. Is hockey and baseball, the hot team wins typically. And I go all the way back to Game 1 against St. There's 2 points I'm going to get to. Game 1 in St. Louis, that 9th inning, being put right to the fire immediately. How closer to the fire can you get than you're on the road, you're playing 3 road games. Game 1, you're down a couple of runs, you got to rally right away. How you not start to believe after you get the rally done?
Well,
and then,
let me. I gotta lay you out what the environment was like for me for game. What game was Saturday? Game 4.
That was Game 4.
So I'm at the Borgata. Okay. College football the midst of college football. You have the Alabama game on. You have the Penn State game on. All the prime time college
Everything's cooking.
football games are on. I wander into the sports book. Guess what's on the main TV?
You got the Phils?
Guess what has the sound?
We got the Phils.
And we don't even have the main TV split. It's just
It's
one.
Just this is what it's about. As it should be.
There's one Padres fan in the whole bar. And guess who's sitting next to me?
Padres guy.
Padres guy.
That's what's in.
Reese hits that home run. Was it Reese? No. Yeah.
Reese hit 2. Yeah, Reese hit 2.
It was the second one because we're talking like later. We're talking like 5th, 6th inning, something like that. I'm down because I watched the first few innings in my room. Go down there. I didn't realize the guy was a Padres fan at first. Reese hits the home run. He chugs the rest of his beer, so I'm figuring, oh, he's hype. Lets out a whole bunch of lines that I can't repeat on the show, and then throws his cup across the bar.
What?
Yes. It was a plastic cup. It wasn't a glass, but still.
Okay.
Still.
Still a little aggressive.
And then just walks out. Then I realize this man's a Padres fan.
Yeah.
And we just ruined his entire weekend.
Yeah, it's shot.
But, I mean, we're talking Atlantic City an hour and a half away.
Right.
On prime college football. Doesn't matter.
Right.
Doesn't matter. Does not matter.
Not matter. Yeah.
Well, one thing that does weird me out is all the people gatekeeping the fandom right now. Have you seen this on Twitter?
Are you talking about the people trying to say if you're a front runner or you wasn't there? Yeah, shut up. Just shut up. Let people have fun. Listen, my wife, for instance, she's not a huge baseball fan. She's into this now. Who cares? Let's just let people have fun. Great. You were there when the team sucked. So was I. And that's fine. It's fine. Who cares? This is what makes sports fun, is when everyone gets involved, everyone gets excited. You think all those people that Franklin and Cotman was watching, Hector Neris blow saves 4 years ago? No. You think they're watching Rico Bronya? No. They don't even know who these people are. Most of these people. It's just a party. It's fun, and that's okay.
And this is a very pro Rico Bronya show, by the way. Like his name gets invoked, and both of them, their name gets invoked repeatedly on this show.
Well, you think people know who Robert Persons is? No, but that's okay. I'm a psychopath. Okay, that's
Robert Person. That guy was the man.
Yeah, I'm invested. I'm invested in Greg Jeffries. like this is my life. This is not for everybody. And that's okay. Like, if you want to be excited now, you have every right to be excited now. This is exciting. It is. And honestly, like with Amber, she was kind of like, I really didn't know how exciting baseball could be because she didn't really experience that 2007-11. And then the entire time we've been together and married, the Phillies have been terrible.
Terrible.
So like I've had them on the background, but like, we're talking like mid-July baseball that means nothing. But playoff baseball, she's like, I understand what you've been saying. It is so much more intense.
The last time the Phillies were in the playoffs, you didn't even have kids.
No. No. I was outside last time the Phillies were in the playoffs. I watched. Yeah, it's wild. It's wild to think about, but it's the truth. It's wild. But
Can I ask your opinion? I need some advice.
What's that?
Hypothetically, you have tickets to the World Series. You going or you selling them? Like, what if you could make an astronomical profit?
Yeah, I mean, I'm selling them.
Yeah. Now, like, you and I are both pro sofa.
I am a huge sofa man. It's the best seat in the house. I'm telling you, people, it's the best seat in the house.
Because this guy that you're talking to may have won the lottery.
Yeah, you gotta sell them. Is it like what is $100?
I got them for $253 a piece.
Yeah, you could triple that.
No, I saw they're going for like $1,600 a piece.
Yeah, you gotta sell them.
Like that's like it's not frowned upon if I flip them, right?
Absolutely not.
Okay,
And then
good.
and it's not like, what does that mean? You can't watch the game? You're
Because
still watching the game?
one of two things was either going to happen. Either you were going to say yes, and I was going to tell you I went to the game and I sold them, or you were going to say no, and I told you that I sold them.
No, I would, yeah, I would definitely sell them and just
I
watch
woke
on
up
my
to an email saying I won the my number got picked for the lottery.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, oh man, you gotta do
Section
it.
208.
Yeah, and Citizens Bank Park, we talk about it ad nauseum. It's not a bad seat in the house.
No.
It's a beautiful spot to watch a game.
But I just want to make sure it's not frowned upon that I like.
Absolutely not. No. Yeah, well, so I talk about game one. Then you mentioned game 4. You get another comeback. Down 4-0. Fastball falter, struggles, gives up 4. You come right back and hit with 3, and then you keep hitting them in the mouth. And then you get to we get the game. You finally get to game 5.
I have some questions when we get into the final breakdown of game 5. I got some questions for you.
Okay, so we get into game 5. Reese gets you off to a great start, and then the rain kicks in and things get a little weird.
They should have called. They should have called that.
What reminded me of? It really reminded me of Game 5 of the World Series in 2008 when it looked like they were just waiting for the Rays to tie the game. Like it was no question like that should have been stopped an inning or 2 ago, but it's like they were waiting for the Rays to do something to tie the game, and that's when they conveniently stopped it when it was tied 2-2.
See, the problem is that when you have a guy throwing 102 that has no control, you got to stop the game.
Exactly. And Sir Anthony you could tell the problem was his footing, and the problem was he
didn't go out. He didn't go out there and not have it.
Right.
It was the conditions that he
exactly. So he battled. He did the best he could. But so you get down 3-2. It's just amazing, like watching that Harper at bat. Like I didn't know what was going to happen, but it just felt like something special was going to happen. Like, do I think he was going to smack a 2-run home run? No. However, it felt like something was going to happen.
In my head, when he came up, I said, "Yo, I bet he hits a home run here."
Wow.
And I didn't say it out loud, so I couldn't. Like, I can't.
Yeah.
So I can't like go on the record with it. But he came up, and I said, "This is why you signed him." Like this.
Yeah. This is how you earn a 330 right here.
Like he's a 2-time MVP before the age of 30.
Yep.
This is why you signed him. And I said in my head, I go, man, would it be great? Now, you know what's crazy? Now, do you remember? Obviously, you've been to Citizens Bank Park and you've seen the plaque on the wall of the Ryan Howard in Ashburn Alley, like where the ball hit the wall. I think it's like 4.
Yeah, the brick wall.
80. Yeah, like 487 or whatever it is, or 489.
Right.
When right before Howard hit that home run, I said to myself in my head, I bet you he jacks one here. And then Ryan Howard jacks that monster home run. I had the same feeling before that Harper one.
Yeah.
I mean, I just didn't say it out loud, but
Harper's locked in. Like Harper typically goes.
Oh, he's the hottest player in the baseball right now.
Yeah. He typically goes 0-1, and he usually swings that first pitch. 9 times out of 10 he misses it. He usually goes 0-1. But when he's going really well, he still figures out a way to get ahead in the count and still work it. So he gets it. He goes 0-1, then he spits on 1, then he goes 1-2, then that changeup that if Harper's not right, he would have swung at 100 times out of 100. Spits on that, and then Suarez obviously doesn't want to go 3-2 because you don't want to run the risk of walking him. And then now we're in a cycle. Now we're in an inning. So you gotta give him a fastball.
Because if you recall, there was no outs when Harper comes up.
Right. Now, the fastball that he chose to give him is one I probably would have chose to give him. like that was not the fastball that I would have chose. I would have tried to change his eye level and give him a high fastball and see if he get him a chase. And then maybe come back at 3-2 for that changeup. If I was the manager, he wouldn't even been in the game. I would have went to my closer.
Hold up, save that for later.
All right.
Well, no, real quick about what you said. That whole game, the ump was giving both the pitchers, everything low
Yeah.
on the strike zone, everything high, they weren't. So he was probably sitting there thinking, if I miss and I'm a little low, I may get it. If I miss and I'm a little high, they won't give it to me.
Right. So
But you can't be scared to still go up there.
right. So for me, you know, I'm going high fastball there. I'm not giving him anything I feel he can handle. And he does. And Bryce waits on it. He waits on it. That's when you know another sign that Bryce is going really well is when he goes the other way.
Yes.
So that's what he did. And he you know, you knew when he hit that thing, and Bryce has that pose where he knows too, like where he's watching it, he's just following through on it. It's like you knew. And I just stood up and I started speaking in tongues. I don't know, like I just blacked out. I started yelling things like, "Are you effing kidding me? Bryce Harper, are you effing kidding me? No way." I blacked out. Because it's just like, how often in life do you get the payoff of a moment like that when you need it? It's like every kid's dream. You're in the
I knocked my whole
backyard.
dinner on the ground.
What's
I
that?
was sitting. I knocked my dinner on the ground. I was sitting there
Yeah.
eating, and it happened. And I stood up and I hit the. It just went flying. Everything went flying.
How often in the backyard, 3-2 count, Game 7 of the World Series,
Bottom of the ninth, bases loaded, down by 3.
Yep. This is every kid's dream. It's every kid's dream to have a moment like he had. And he called it himself. He said to JT something to the effect of, "Let's go out there and make a moment." And he made a moment. Very, very reminiscent of Ryan Howard, just get me to the plate, boys. It's basically the same concept. Is that
I have to give a shout out to I'm not sure the person who runs the account on YouTube, but the account name is called Sports Takes. They have a video up that is basically it has the fall and the rise of the Phillies. So the opening clip is the Ryan Howard at bat where he gets hurt. And the ending clip is Bryce Harper hitting that home run with the Phillies Dancing on My Own song underneath it. And it goes through the whole thing. Highly suggest, if you get a chance, looking at that video. It's only like it's only as long as the song is. So what's that? 3-4 minutes long. But they did a good job, putting together all the downfalls and then the up. Because like I said, it starts with Ryan Howard's injury.
Wow. I gotta check that out.
You gotta check it. Awesome. And of course, they did the whole thing in black and white, so it looks way more dramatic.
Yeah, of course. I love I think it's Philly Fan Muse keeps doing every time the series ends, he uses the Coach Carter ending, that song, "Well, I'm hopeful." And it's like
yeah.
The Ryan Howard home run and the credits rolling.
It always has the it always has it where it's like, and it stops and it's like, tells you about what it is.
Yep. That's been cracking me up. I love that stuff.
Also shout out to whoever put the Moneyball music under the video on Twitter.
Yes, that was major.
I should know that to give you proper credit, but just know that you've been noticed.
Yeah, I've watched that home run.
I've watched every version, Marcus.
Yeah,
I've watched every
maybe 100 times.
Titanic music. It doesn't matter what it is.
It never gets old. That will live in infamy forever as one of the greatest moments in Philadelphia sports history. Absolutely unbelievable. We're gonna get into the actual series that starts Friday in a couple minutes, but once again, what's nice, you're set up again. You're set up with your top of your rotation.
Nola, it's confirmed Nola's pitching game 1.
Nola's going game 1, which makes sense. Nola hasn't pitched in 9 days.
Well, also, Wheeler, I like pitching Nola game 1. I actually can I give you a wild theory after we're done with our guest?
Sure.
I mean, it's not going to happen because we already announced Nola game 1, but my theory is I may have considered Ranger game 1, and I'll give you that scenario why after our guest. Now, we know Nola's pitching game 1, Wheeler's pitching game 2. It's confirmed. Right. But I'll give you my theory why. I would have done that after we're done with him. But I like Wheeler not pitching at day one.
Well, listen, the
And
numbers say
not because of just the numbers, because I don't think that this isn't obviously this is going to be a sweep. I don't believe. I don't know if you don't believe that. Do you? You don't think it's going to be a sweep?
no, this is not be a sweep.
I don't think it's going to be. I think it's going to be 6 or 7. If I'm being
least.
completely honest with you,
Yeah,
I don't see either team winning it in 5.
neither do I.
Now, I'd love Phillies win it in 5. They win it at home, for game 5s. But I got to be real. I don't think that's going to happen.
Right.
I think that it's going to go at least 6 or 7. We'll
The
make
national perception is the Phillies are a major underdog in the series. Now, I also think a lot of people haven't watched this team obviously as close as we have, and a lot of people haven't watched this team in the playoffs because this is not the same team that was here in September.
No, Keith
August.
Hernandez is on board now. What's up with that?
Say again?
Keith Hernandez. He's on board with this team
He's
now.
here?
He's on board.
He apologized?
He did.
Good.
He
good.
tweeted something along the lines of, "This is not the same team I've watched before. I'm all on board with them now."
Yeah,
Something
they're not. They're a very, very different squad. They really. I mean, it's again. We talked about the opening of the show. Their bats are just way better.
Did you see the video of Nick Castellanos rapping Lil Wayne in the locker room?
It's me. Yeah, that was awesome. I mean, listen, who's surprised by that? Like that's not surprising. Like you listen to his walk-up music. The Phillies, we talked about before, have the worst walk-up music maybe in the history of life. Most of their music is terrible.
They have terrible music.
Terrible walk-up music.
That playlist is so bad.
It's so bad. Nick Castellanos consistently throughout the year had the best walk-up music. Consistently. The rest of them, I don't know what they're doing. Until Bryce goes Ride With Me, that's basically it.
Yeah,
anyway.
it's so bad. Like I think it was Alex Coffey that put the playlist out for everybody on social media on Spotify.
Uh-huh.
And I skimmed through it, and like 95% of that playlist is abysmal.
They've been doing like the stuff I'm hearing in the locker room is way better than whatever they're doing. Like when they beat the Braves and they knew they were playing the Padres and they did Going Back to Cali, but that was fire. Like It's Me, obviously fire, and Dancing on My Own. All right, so that's fun. It's fun. Actually, Caleb Scott someone's reached out to him and he said that he would be willing to perform Dancing on My Own in Philly.
What, for game 3, 4?
I don't know how that would work. I don't know if we're talking about like if the Phillies have a clinching game in Philly, bring them in, or if you're gonna have them just perform it in the beginning, like before the game starts. I don't know. Maybe a 7th inning stretch.
When would you bring that in? I mean, it's a short song. It's not the longest song in the world.
No, just bring him on 7th inning stretch. Let him do his thing. You're
gonna have Fiesta there too, because it's the remix. So you're gonna have
right.
So
yeah, but I mean, it's just an exciting time. Like it's wild that we're sitting here. We are a half an hour in on the show. We haven't even mentioned or talked about the 6-0 Eagles.
Yeah,
it's wild.
Yeah, I mean,
but listen,
a
special day deserves a special guest, right?
Absolutely.
So we got joining us our guy from WIP on our host, VSIN host also, the man with the red beard.
There's no red beard. I'm a disappointment. I know.
Red beard Ryan joins us.
Yeah.
Hey Ryan,
red beard Ryan.
Yeah. Well, listen, let's just jump right into it. How are you feeling, man? This is incredible. This is just incredible. Like, we are just having so much fun. Like, Justin actually said at the beginning of the show, 38 days ago, I came on this airwaves and said, because I was so frustrated with what was going on with the Phillies. I was like, if they don't make the playoffs this year, we will not discuss Phillies baseball until they do.
Yep.
Like, I don't care about Andrew Painter. I don't care about McAble. I don't care about anything that's happening next year. We will not discuss this team until they do. And then they turn around and bless us with one of the most glorious runs in the history of this city. Like they're in the again, earlier in the show, I know we're prepared to knock down every wall from 7 to 11 right now in the past 3 weeks. First time in the playoffs 2011. First time winning a home games 2011. First playoff home games 2011. First NLCS appearance 2010. First World Series appearance 2009. And now you have a chance to have your first World Championship since 2008 in 3 weeks.
It's I mean, you asked how I feel. I mean, my goodness, can you feel any better? Right? Like, this is it. Like, this is just I know a lot of people have compared this run to 2017, and I've been one of them with the Birds, because you just look at improbable underdog runs. Man, this might top it. This might top that Eagles run, and some people may say I'm out of my mind, and I'd agree with you. Um, but this is just ridiculous. And then you put the icing on the cake, whatever phrase you want to use, with the Harper bomb in the bottom of the 8th. My goodness. I mean, this is just that environment at that ballpark. No disrespect to any Eagles playoff game, no disrespect to any Phillies playoff games in the past, Sixers, Flyers, whatever. It's next level. Like, it is
Marcus,
next
Marcus,
freaking
I
level.
buried the lead. I forgot. Ryan was at the game. I forgot to tell you that.
Yeah, I was checking out the Twitter. Yeah, I saw you were actually in the house. Well, kudos to you and the people down there. Like, you're right. I mean, it is that environment down there. And, going back to the Braves series, game 3, I was very excited for that first home game because I knew it was going to be extraordinary. But it even in my brain, going back to my remembrance of 93, my remembrance of 7 to 11, it blew and shattered those expectations from the first shot of the rally towels. And you saw it just snatch the souls of the, like, I watched Spencer Strider's soul leave his body on national television. I saw the pigmentation evaporate from his face in the middle of that Segura Stott at bat. Like, he didn't want to be there anymore. Acuna Jr. didn't want to be there anymore. Now, I think the Padres handled the atmosphere a little better. However, the atmosphere was still raucous and insane, especially game 4 of that series during that comeback, the Bryce Harper double. This is my effing house. Like, that place, it was, as Scott Fransky said, bedlam at the bank. That's what it was.
The bank. Yo, that is one of the greatest calls of all time.
Yeah.
I posted that. I mean, my goodness, like, bedlam at the bank is just the perfect call at the perfect time, perfect way to describe it. It's just, after game 4, you bring that up, Marcus, like that was the air out of their souls. Like, after the Phillies win game 4 at the bank, you just felt like there's no way the Phillies are losing not only this series, there's no way the Phillies are losing game 5 at home. It's just, I don't know what it is with this team. I don't know what it is with them playing in Philly, but any time that this team has gotten down, or for any moment where you're watching saying, oh man, all right, maybe they're not going to be able to bounce back from this. Maybe the Padres are going to win this. Maybe the Braves are going to win this, right? It's any series, anytime this team has been down, they come right back. Like, if they blow a lead, if they get down early, immediately when they get back up to bat, they come right back. Like, there's just, fight doesn't even begin to describe this Phillies team right now. It's quite literally unbelievable.
I believe, to back up those stats, I believe the Phillies right now are 21-9 at the bank. And I think that include in the past, from 4 to 21 in the playoffs. And that includes that sweep against the Rockies in 2007. So it just shows you how dominant they've been. They're absolutely dominant there. Yep. And it's a place that just no one wants to come. Like, the way the stadium is constructed, the fans are basically sitting on top of the field. And, I was watching shots of people who live a mile or two away, just outside, and you can hear the roar like they were in the stadium. It's absolutely insane. And, I've said to Justin ad nauseum, when Philly gets loud, any of the 4 majors, when Philly gets loud, it sounds different than any other place on the planet. Yeah, it's just a different type of sound that you face. But I want to get into the series against the Astros and break that down a little bit. This is, I think, this is a two-sided coin in the sense that I think this is the best team the Phillies have faced in the playoffs thus far. I believe they're the best team in baseball. However, I believe this is also the best team the Astros have faced. I think the Yankees are overrated. I don't think their lineup was that great and will pose the challenges the Phillies pose. And, they were tested a little bit against Seattle. They took a wild comeback in that first game, the Alvarez home run to get past game 1 Seattle. Game 2, they win that game. And game 3 was 18 innings. So they were tested a little bit against them. But what the Phillies are doing, where I think is going to be something that is going to help them, is that the Phillies are doing a really good job grinding out at bats. Like, they're actually having, like, how many wasted at bats have you seen this entire postseason? Like, even when they're getting outs, they're quality outs. They're not going up there just hacking, well, Castellanos, but they're not going up there and just, for the most part, going up there and just hacking and just no plan. For the most part, there's a plan up there, their approach. So when you look at this series, what do you see realistically?
Yeah, I think you bring up a great point about the Phillies' discipline at the plate, right? And I think the easiest, most obvious example to illustrate that is the Harper at bat in the bottom of the 8th. And what he did to just be disciplined and wait for the right pitch. He had that 2-2 count. I think he took a change up to get to 2 strikes. Then he fouled off a pitch. There was a couple of really excellent breakdowns on Twitter that I saw from different people. Sorry, without giving them credit, but he's just been locked in, right? And it's not just Harper. I mean, it's everyone. Obviously, we've all seen what Schwarber's been doing, what Hoskins has been doing. My goodness, like if Harper doesn't hit that home run in the bottom of the 8th in that spot, I think there's a strong case for Hoskins to win NLCS MVP. Not I think, I know there's a strong case for Hoskins to win NLCS MVP. And a couple months ago, we were screaming and yelling to trade this bum. We've been screaming and yelling to trade Alec Boehm. I mean, like, just there's so many storylines around this Phillies team. I'm getting a little bit sidetracked here, but I mean, what I see right now is a Phillies team that's playing the best baseball on planet Earth. You mentioned this is a team that the Phillies haven't really seen yet, quality and talent wise, and vice versa for Houston. The Phillies are the best team of the two right now. All right, Houston's better. Okay, they've been the betting favorite pretty much since day one, going all the way back to April. Houston's loaded. They are an absolute beast, juggernaut, however you want to describe them. But Houston has all the pressure in the world on them right now, right? I want your guys' thoughts on this. I hate the 2-3-2 format. But right now with the Phillies, I freaking love it, because now you go on the road for the first 2 games. And if you're the Phils, you just say, all right, let's just figure out a way to win one of these games. And they've done an excellent job of stealing game 1 the past 2 straight series. Obviously, if you can do that, that's optimal. But then all the pressure goes to the road team in the games 3 through 5, right? So if Philly goes to Houston, steals 1, all the pressure in the world's back on Houston, right? It's going to be really tough, as we've seen, for Houston to get a win on the road. So I think Philly has a lot of the advantages right now.
Yeah, everything that, like, first of all, this is a rarity for Philadelphia, because majority of country, if you don't live in Houston, we're rooting for this team based on Houston's exploits from a couple years ago. And when they come here, they're going to hear that like they've never heard it before. The chants, the things that are going to be said to them, they are not ready at all prepared for what's about to happen. But back to Harper real quick. When Bryce Harper's going well is when he goes 0-1 probably more or most than most people in baseball. He's usually swinging that first pitch. Most of the time he misses it. When he's going well, he still manages to get that count back even or get ahead in the count. When he's going bad, that 0-1 turns to a punch out quickly. And that's what you're seeing from him, is he's battling. Like, for me, my guy of this series is going to be Castellanos. I think Dusty Baker, being an old school manager, he's not going to let Bryce Harper beat him. Bryce Harper, I would be surprised if he sees 3 fastballs this entire series. I don't think they're going to let him hit the way he was allowed to hit.
How do you even pitch to him at this point?
That's right. That's what I'm saying.
How stupid are you?
Right. So
Right?
the
Like, how
real
dumb are the Padres? I mean, thank you. I love their stupidity. How do you not go to Hader in that spot? You
yeah,
have the lead. The Phillies have their best players coming up to bat right now. Come on. You
right,
are an idiot. Right? Like, you got to go
1000%.
to Hader. And even if you go to Hader or not, you cannot pitch to Bryce in that spot. And to your point, I think you hit the nail on the head. We'll see how it plays out. I'll be shocked if they pitch to Harper, really, period. And but especially if they pitched him in any significant spot, right? Like, once the bullpen is in for
Mhm.
Houston, once it gets past the 5th or 6th inning in a big moment, I don't know how you can pitch to Bryce Harper right now. But the problem is, it's not just Bryce, right? I mentioned Hoskins. JT has come up with some timely hitting. Schwarber's starting the games off at times with bombs, and he's coming through with timely at bats. That walk was obviously huge in Game 5, right? So it's not just Bryce, but you cannot pitch to Bryce Harper right now in any spot if you're Houston. Hopefully, they're dumb enough to do it.
If there's ever a scenario where he comes up and first base is open with a runner on second or third, I'd be shocked if he does not intentionally walked every single time.
He
Yeah.
should get the Barry Bonds treatment.
You do not want to pitch to him with somebody on base right now. If first
No.
base is open, you walk him.
You give him the
1000%.
bag. You have to, right?
Um,
Like, you absolutely have to. And then that's where, like, the chess match is going to come into play. Like, playoff baseball, you love watching the chess match, right? So it's like, all right, well, what does Topper do? Does he stick with his starter here? Who does he go to in the pen? And one thing that I've loved about how Rob Thompson has managed these games, managed this team, he doesn't care about the next game, right? Like, you shouldn't. I hate the people and the managers that will come on and say, well, you know what? Like, it's a little bit of a marathon here, and you have to think about the next game. Like, the next game, you're going to lose the current one if you're thinking too far ahead. Thompson has treated pretty much every game, every scenario like it's a Game 7, and I think that's a huge factor as to why the Phillies are here. He's just been managing a little bit loose, a little bit aggressive, and that has trickled down into the clubhouse. I think the key is the pitching, right? Like, what can Nola bounce back, from a little bit of a shaky appearance the last time we saw him? And then can the bullpen continue to do what they've been doing? The Phillies bullpen, that is. Like, they have become now like the best bullpen in baseball, but we all know that has not been the case for the majority of the season. So can they continue to be what they have been in the past couple of weeks, or will they revert back to what they were in the regular season? I don't think they're going to revert back, but that's still a big storyline.
If I was a nitpick, I have two concerns. One concern is I love 99.9% that Rob Thompson, the things that he's done overall in managing this team, except the way he's removing starters. I feel like he's come very close to getting himself in some dangerous situations by removing starters too quickly. I go back to Game 3, taking Ranger about after 73 pitches. I think Game 2, when he takes Nola out, it's 4-4. Nola's struggling a little bit, but I also feel like Nola just got that strikeout on Machado. I would like to see if he could have got out of that inning. And I think you spiral that point because then you put in Brad Hand, and now you're exposing the bad parts of your bullpen.
We're not going to see him anymore, right? Like Brad Hand, like he's done for this series. Right?
Probably not. I don't see it.
I hope not, but
yeah, please no.
He's been going to guys, like, he's been giving these guys confidence, and he being Thompson. So I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked if we did see him again, but personally, I hope we don't.
I'm cool on that. But that's where I would like to, and also too, Game 5, I thought he took Wheeler out a little bit too early. I don't think Wheeler gave up got a guy on base, but I think this is Zach Wheeler, bro. Let him go. Let him see if he can figure it out. And then you get yourself in trouble, and Dominguez gets a little wild because of the weather. However, Bryce bails you out there. I think that would have been these things that have happened would be more storylines if the Phillies haven't found ways to win these games anyway. I would like to see him stick with the Stars a little more in the World Series. My second thing is the Astros are really good, and one thing they're really good at is capitalizing on mistakes. They remind me a lot of those like late 90s Yankees teams where you cannot like for instance, it's a Segura double play that he drops the ball, doesn't turn that. He comes back the next inning, gets a hit, fine. Reese dropping it out. Like things like that cannot happen against this squad. Like you gotta like to beat this Astros team, they're gonna have to play perfect baseball. I don't think that they can the imperfections they've had in the playoffs in these moments, Reese letting the ball skip by him in the Braves series, these things cannot happen against this team. This team is just too good. If I flash back now to 2009, I believe it was Game 4 when there was nobody covering third base and Johnny Damon runs to third. Things like that, like these things can't happen against this team. They just can't.
No, listen, I agree. I mean, they can't happen in the NLCS either, but
Right.
I don't want to say the Phillies just got lucky, but to your point, the resiliency, they've been able to bounce back and sort of eliminate the mistakes that they made in the previous inning or the top half of the inning, whatever the case may have been. But yeah, like I mentioned Hoskins, and we all know what he's been doing with his bat. You can make a case for him being NLCS MVP. I am nervous every time there's a ground ball, not just to him, period. Anytime there's a throw being made to Hoskins in the infield, I am crapping myself waiting for him to screw it up. Like the dude's footwork is terrible. He has no idea how to like straddle the first base, how far to reach for the ball when a throw's coming to him. He has no idea how to scoop it up. Like it's like his first time playing first base, quite literally every game, anytime there's a ball coming his way. So I think Thompson has to start to think about that late in games. You know, do you take him out, move Bohm over to first, depending on the situation? But like, yeah, you can't have those silly, costly fielding mistakes in a World Series.
So before we let you go, I got two questions for you. The first one is, who's your breakout guy? For me, is Castellanos. I think Castellanos has to have a big series. I think he's going to see a lot of fastballs. He's got to capitalize on those fastballs because, again, as we talked about before, I don't think they're pitching to Bryce at all for any reason, and they shouldn't do it. So you're going to need a guy that, Castellanos had that game 1 against the Braves. He's had a couple hits here and there, but you really need him this series. So who is your guy besides the usual suspects that you think is going to come through in this series?
I look at the young guys, right? And I think you bring up a good point in Cassie. Yeah, it'd be really nice if he can step up. He had a big game, in the NLDS where he had that catch and then he had 3 ribbies. That was huge. But you look at what the top half of the lineup has been doing for the Phillies, like 1 through 5, they've been unbelievable. So I'm not saying it doesn't matter what Castellanos does, but if you look at the bottom half of the lineup, you look at the younger guys. I look at like a kid like Stott, and if he's able to come through, I think it was game 5. He had a huge double in like the bottom of the 6th. He's been playing really well, right? So if you can have like the young guys step up, or if you can have, your 7, 8, or 9 hitter come through in a big spot or really step up and produce in a big game, that's the difference, right? So I think it's any of the guys that are 7, 8, 9 in the Phillies lineup, if they can have a big game, a big moment, that's where I'm looking, because that's how you get a World Series. It's not always going to be Harper. It's not always going to be Schwarber or JT or even Castellanos. It's going to be someone that no one really expected.
So game 1 starts Friday night, 8:03. 7 games, Phillies, Astros. Who you got? Give me the games. What do you think?
The Phillies, if you look at what they've done, they've won 3 in a row, lost a game, won 3 in a row, lost a game, won 3 in a row. I'm not going to pick them to lose despite that trend. I'm going to go with they've been winning game 1s, right? And I'm looking at the time off that they've had all week. I think they're going to come out firing, and they're going to figure out a way to get the first one. I think it's going to come back to Philly, just how it's been coming back to Philly. I think the series is going to be tied 1-1, and then hopefully the Phils can do what they did against the Padres and win all 3 home games. But I'm going with the Phils to take game 1.
All right. I mean, yeah, they've been really good at getting control, getting that first game, and they have yet to trail at any series this postseason. Hope that trend continues.
Now, real
Right.
quick, before we let you go, we got to hear the story.
Oh, right. Yes.
What story? What happened?
Rumor had it that you dyed your beard the same color as your hat and the Ventnor sweatshirt behind you.
That's right. No, we can confirm that rumor. Yes, it's on social, but yes.
Now, you told me that there's quite a story behind it.
There was. I don't know if you can still see it. But I have some issues here because in between like my goatee region, because the dye that we got was a spray and it said like in bold on the back, do not have any contact with your skin. It will
Oh,
cause like some severe burning. And I just quickly sprayed it all and I was like rubbing it off on my face.
was this
and
an
basically-
inebriated decision?
I
or was
basically
this,
burned my entire face is the quick version of this story. The first
Was this
time
an
I tried to dye
inebriated
my
decision?
beard. It was a massive fail.
Where's,
But it was worth it.
was this an inebriated decision or was this like a sober decision?
Unfortunately, completely sober. I think it would have been better if I was inebriated, but
Yeah.
it's more embarrassing that I wasn't.
I was trying to let you off the hook, but the fact that that's sober is wild.
will you be in the building any games next week?
I'm going to try my best. Especially if it's the closeout game. I mean, it's worth every penny. I mean, that experience was unbelievable. Game 5. Boy, would I like to see it again. At the worst case, I'd like to be in the area, Xfinity, around the ballpark, if and when we have that opportunity.
Well, get this. The parade information is already out. And it looks like if this thing is wrapped up, if it goes 7, which November 5th will be game 7, the parade would be November 8th, which is election day. So you'll have a ton of people who are off. It's going to be crazy. It'll be wild.
Can't wait, boys. Can't wait.
Unlike the Super Bowl, you can win the World Series in your city. And I don't think I would want to be at a if the Eagles make it to the Super Bowl this year, I don't think I would want to be at the Super Bowl. I'd rather
No, I
be
agree.
in Philadelphia
Right.
for it. But if it's a Phillies World Series game here and you're trying to win it, that's a completely different scenario. Whereas if you're just and don't get me wrong, if somebody was said, here's 2 tickets to game 6 in Houston and the Phillies are up 3-2, of course, but I don't want to go see the Eagles play the Bills in Arizona. That does nothing for me.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's what makes like baseball special, is the opportunity to win in your city in front of your home crowd in your ballpark, right? Like all the people that are saying, well, it's like going to be $700 cheaper to go see game 1 in Houston. I don't want to see game 1 in Houston, right? Like I'd rather figure out a way to spend the extra money to be in Philly. Like, sorry, it's a cool trip. If you want to go down to Houston, I'm not knocking you, go ahead. But I'm not going to go there because I'm trying to nickel and dime it compared to Philly. It's just such a cool experience to be in your city.
If you're going to go to Houston, go there for game 6 and catch the Eagles game the day before.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the move.
I would go for game 6 or 7, I guess, but sign me up for 2, 3, 4, or 5, excuse me.
Well, you can get game 5 here, then get out to Houston, watch the Thursday night game, and then get to game 6.
That could be a
Listen,
move.
I mean, I'm not doing that. I mean, but like, if you wanted to go to Houston, you could. I'm not going to Houston, but if you wanted to, you absolutely could.
Right.
Well, Ryan, we appreciate your time. We appreciate you jumping on as usual. And I'm sure as Sixers get heated up, we'll have you back on.
If they get heated up, I should say.
They'll be fine.
We should preface it by saying if they get heated. So.
Oh, is he frozen?
I think he froze.
All right.
All right, then. Well,
Ryan Rothstein joined the program.
94 WIP.
Yep. Good times as usual. Yeah, I mean, like as we get into now the breakdown portion of this, there's a lot of reasons to be really excited.
I wanted to pose a question to you real quick after he got out of here.
Okay.
I got 2 of them. Number 1, the first one's kind of rhetorical. Because we all know that there's not really a good reason for it.
Mhm.
But the first one is why wasn't Josh Hader in Game 5?
Why wasn't he in the entire series? Like,
So like
what, he
that,
was,
like that's kind of like that's kind of
he
rhetorical.
they only used him in game 2. And a guy like that, as coveted as he was, as good as he is at his job, you got to figure out ways to get him a game. Like, even though I'm when it comes with Topper and things, like, the way he's got his stars out of there, I do like the fact that he's using Alvarado whenever he needs to, using Dominguez whenever he needs to,
Like Ryan said,
using
you
him for multiple innings.
can't manage scared. You have to manage to
Right.
win that game right then and there, and that's what I really enjoy. And that's what you said that bothers you bothers me too. I think he's got too quick of a hook on these starters sometimes.
Yeah.
Because you don't have Titans in the bullpen every arm coming out. You have 2 of them.
Charlie Manuel said I was listening to him. He was on the afternoon show on one of the networks. I was listening to him, and he said that what he would have done, he would have had Hader warming up while Bryce was in the on deck circle. So Bryce had to watch him throwing gas, and it's trying to get in his head already, which I agree with. Like, listen, this is my best reliever, your best hitter. Let's see what happens. Lefty on lefty. Like, this is, I mean, you brought this guy over for moments like this. Like, why are you afraid to get 5 outs out of him? Now, Suarez is no slouch over there for them. Like, he's a big part of that back end of that bullpen. However, it's a better matchup, obviously, for Bryce. So I don't know what Bob Melvin was thinking. I don't know why in the world you would allow him to pitch to Bryce. I don't understand what you're thinking. I think, again, going back to your point and Ryan's point, he was managing for tomorrow.
You got to win today in order to get to tomorrow.
Silly, right? Because you had, bro, you're down 3-1. You go home if you lose this game. This is a game 7 for you. You have 3 game 7s in a row, and you got to win. So we got to do whatever. Like, I'm warming up Blake Snell. I'm doing whatever I got to do to get this out. I got to get this guy out. So yeah, it was just like Topper again. Topper goes, Robinson starts to struggle. He goes to Ranger. And he goes, well, you know what? Ranger's closed before. Let me see if I can get these outside of Ranger, which Ranger comes in and does the job. So, yeah, I can't get inside Bob Melvin's head. I don't know. He's been asked this question a million times. There's no good answer for why he didn't bring in Hader. I'm still confused why he didn't bring him in, but that's why you're home. But moving on to the Astros, like I said, there's a tough foe. Altuve, Alvarez, one of the best hitters in baseball. Their lineup is stopped. Pena, who won the ALCS MVP, played really well against the Yankees. They're loaded, and it's gonna be a tough challenge. And a guy like Verlander is the same. Verlander is very similar to Wheeler to me in the sense that these dominant pitchers, these really, really dominant pitchers, you got to get to them in the first couple innings.
You want to hear his? I have some numbers on Verlander that might intrigue you.
Yeah, I'm in.
Okay, so he's 15-11 in his career in the postseason with a 3.55 ERA. His whole career postseason, okay?
Yeah, pretty ordinary for him.
He's 0 for 6 with a 5.88 ERA in his lifetime in World Series games.
Wow.
Which tells you that he's 15-5 in the postseason, not in the World Series.
Yeah, and in that ERA, which says 5 something?
5.88.
So that ERA probably not World Series games is like a solid 2, maybe under 2. If you're that high and you're only a 3.55.
I mean, you are looking at a pitcher who has a chance to win 300 games.
Yeah.
You are looking at probably winning his 3rd Cy Young this year.
Yeah, definitely.
A first ballot bona fide Hall of Famer. You have, I believe he's the last pitcher to win MVP. Not even Cy Young, MVP.
Yeah.
Triple Crown winner. Multiple time strikeout champion. Multiple time innings leader. You are facing a a legend. Make no mistake about that. But the numbers dictate this legend can be had in championship games.
Yeah, I mean, he to your point, he got shelled in game 1 against Seattle. He got beat up pretty bad.
Was the
against-
Astros the team that played the 18-inning game?
Yep.
No, okay.
Yeah, that was game 3 against Seattle.
Yeah, I couldn't. I just didn't remember what team it was.
Yeah, so yeah, he could definitely be had. Again, you got these guys, the Wheelers, the Verlanders. You got to get to them early. I mean, honestly, the guy who scares me the most is game 2 is Valdez, because he's a lefty. He's a really hard throwing lefty. He scares me more than Verlander, because the Phillies are pretty good against righties. Lefties, not so much. Now Wheeler goes game 2, so that makes you feel good. But the margin for error, I feel, is a lot less. I think Nola will bounce back. I think he'll be fine. He'll get it together against Houston.
Let me lay out my rotation to you. So I was wrong earlier. I still have Nola going 1. I actually wanted to go Suarez game 2.
Okay.
Because I wanted to try to steal an extra start from Nola in this, and getting the travel day on Sunday might allow you to do that. I would have gone Suarez 1 or Nola 1, Suarez 2, at home, Wheeler 3, 4. I mean, you got to have a bullpen game somewhere in this series.
Yeah.
But then game 5, you can roll Nola out again.
And game 4, I think.
And then that also lines you up for game 7.
Yeah.
With Wheeler.
Yeah, which I love.
So no, I mean, they've already just announced Nola Wheeler, but I think that some second or third level thinking may have come into play if you would have played Suarez, and I don't think that would have been the end of the world.
I think that game 4, that bullpen game, is a combination. For me, it's a combination of Syndergaard, Eflin. That's what I want to get. I want to get 6 innings out of Syndergaard.
Are you starting Bailey Falter again or no?
No. I would be okay. Maybe.
Who would you start game 4? Who would be your guy starter? Syndergaard starting.
I go Syndergaard. Listen, his 1 outing, three strong innings. And that's what you're looking for out of him. I think, and then you turn it over to Eflin, have Eflin go 3. And I think that's how you get through that game.
Now, yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree with you on that. Now, as far as the hook goes for pulling them, you got to extend all of them now that the World Series, right? I mean, there's no,
yeah, I mean, you would think,
unless you're getting, if it's me, unless they're getting shelled, I don't even get a guy warming up before they hit 90 pitches.
Yeah, everyone to me, I want to get to the 8th. With Wheeler and Nola, I want to get to the 8th. Get me to the 8th, then we'll go Alvarado Dominguez. But get me to the 8th.
And I feel like for the most part, everybody can throw out of the bullpen. Everybody can throw back-to-back days by this point in time.
Yeah.
You don't have that many games left. You're about to get 5 months off.
Yeah.
You can throw.
Yeah. I
agree. As far as I'm concerned, if you get to a game 7, keyword if, everybody except for your game 6 starter is available out of the bullpen.
Yeah, you'll have Nola out of the bullpen. You'll have Wheeler out of the bullpen.
Well, I assume one of those two would start the game.
Well, I mean, I guess maybe Nola. Wheeler's going to go 2 and 6. Well, yeah, you can't use him in the bullpen. So Wheeler's going to go probably 2 and 6, and Nola can go 1, 4 and 7 if you need him to. 1, 5 and 7 if you need him to.
What it would be, well, like I said, for game 7, everybody's available except for Wheeler.
Right.
And if I'm Zach Wheeler, I may go to Thompson. And I say, listen, this is game 7.
Yeah.
You need me for
I can give you an inning.
You need an inning. You need one batter.
Yeah. I can get you a batter.
I can do it.
Yeah. No, I agree with you.
There's no when it comes down to there's no tomorrow, all hands on deck.
But this is nice about having like a utility like Ranger, because Ranger can do that. Ranger can, you know, he's not going to start Game 7 probably, but he can give you some innings out of the bullpen Game 7 and be comfortable doing that because he's really pitched everywhere.
Yo, was there a guy more hype during the on-field presentation than Suarez?
No.
When Rob Thompson was like, "Yeah, I brought Ranger in, and his heartbeat 62."
Yep.
He was ready to go. Mentally he was already in the locker room.
While I was at, it was funny. Like they were talking. It actually made me laugh a little bit. They were talking on the broadcast about because Topper asked Ranger like because game 1 against the Braves was very unlike Ranger. He's having trouble locating his pitches. He was a little wild, a little erratic. And Topper said, "You know what happened?" And he said, I was too excited. He's like, "It'll never happen again. I was just too excited." And like proof's in the pudding because game.
Well,
3
you know about
the
the whole thing with him with the Brave series, right, on TV.
No,
that was the first game that he played in that his family in Venezuela was getting on the broadcast.
Okay.
So they were all like his whole family back in Venezuela was able to watch him on TV for the first time.
Yeah.
That's why it was such a big deal for him to get that individual start.
Yeah, that's understandable. I get it.
But like you said, I got excited. It'll never happen again.
I got too excited. It'll never happen again. But yeah, speaking excited, I'm very excited. We got game 1, 8:03, Nola Verlander.
How do you feel about every game at 8:03?
I'm okay with that. I like night baseball, especially for big games.
I kind of wish we had like the game on Saturday. Game 2 may have been like a 4:35 start.
Okay. Little World Series day baseball.
There's nothing wrong with afternoon weekend baseball. Not wrong.
I like afternoon playoff baseball. I mean, I guess for the kids.
I mean, how nice was it last week that the Eagles were on a bye and you still had a 2:37 Phillies game to plug your afternoon?
Right.
I didn't watch it. I didn't watch any football last week. I don't even know what happened. So.
Right. Speaking of the Eagles, they do play on Sunday.
And they're actually undefeated.
They're undefeated, and I think they'll remain that way. Spoiler alert. This is
there's no way Kenny Pickett is going to come into.
Well, it's a tailor-made matchup. He throws the ball. He turns the ball over a lot. The Eagles are number 1 in turnovers. It's not a good recipe for them. No. The Steelers haven't beaten the Eagles in Philadelphia, I think, in like 75 years. And it looks like that trend will continue.
You know how many? I heard this earlier as a trivia question, so I actually know the answer. But do you know how many times the Steelers have ever actually played in Philadelphia in their lifetime?
I do not.
7.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, only 7 times the Steelers have played in Philadelphia.
Wow.
Since like 1933.
Wow, interesting.
You would just assume that they. I mean,
you assume they'd be here more.
Yeah, but
interesting.
Instead, every single season we have to play the freaking Jets, Marcus.
Yep. Yeah. But I mean, listen. On the other side, the last time the Eagles were undefeated this deep in the season, it was the Steelers that beat them. But obviously, a much better team than this team they're bringing in on Sunday.
Yeah, they had a rookie quarterback though too. Then someone maybe you heard of him, Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah. Yep. So what I want to do is I'm going to get to my power rankings because we're running out of time. I want to make sure I get those in.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you're in the World Series.
Yeah, right. So as usual, let me go through last week's power rankings.
Okay.
We had the Bengals at 10, Niners at 9, Jets at 8, Chargers at 7, Cowboys at 6, Giants at 5, Vikings at 4, Chiefs at 3, Bills at 2, Eagles at 1. Okay, this week again. A lot of 4 and 3 teams around the NFL. So it's like, who are the best ones? And what I did with number 10 this week is that I feel like this team deserves some love. But I feel like they're not getting that love because this is a really unexpected 4 and 3 team. And I'm gonna go with the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle Seahawks have not been talked about at all because a lot of people kind of looked at Geno Smith and said, no way. Well, I gotta tell you. If you're not paying attention, Geno Smith is playing some really good football.
I have him on my fantasy team, Marcus. I know all about Geno Smith.
Geno Smith is out here balling on a budget. And listen, he has the highest rated QB rating in the NFC at 107.7. The next closest actually is Jalen Hurts 98.4. He and listen, you look at the rest of that team. These guys to throw the ball to. There's guys there to throw the ball to. They got a lot of speed between Metcalf, Godwin, and Lockett, and they have a pretty good running game. The defense needs to catch up a little bit. They fix their offensive line. They're playing good football, and a lot of it has to do with Geno Smith, who, besides I guess the Eagles and Jalen Hurts, probably is the best story in the NFL because nobody saw Geno Smith playing this well and being this good, especially after you get rid of Russell Wilson, and you think there's going to be some major drop off, and you've actually improved your offensive production. So it's been a wild thing to watch, but that's why the Seahawks come in number 10 for me.
I got a question for you in regards to Geno Smith, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Comeback player of the year: Geno Smith, Saquon Barkley.
Ooh.
You don't have to answer that now, but I mean,
yeah, that's a tough one. Yeah, I guess we'll see.
And is there even a third candidate?
No,
worth mentioning between those two.
Not that I can no.
I'm sorry. So you at Seattle 10?
Seattle is 10. The 4-3 is continue with the Bengals at 9. If you not paying attention, Joe Burrow is back. Joe Burrow threw for almost 500 on Sunday. Things are happening. I expect them to keep climbing because it looks like all the issues they were having at the beginning of the year has been fixed, and they're going to be okay. I have the Tennessee Titans at number 8. Listen, they're another team playing really good. I know they had they played the Colts. Colts are not that great. Matt Ryan can be done, all that, but the Titans continue to win. That's why number 8. Number 7, another great story, the New York Jets, who continue to find ways to win football games. Now, they had an unfortunate setback on Sunday with the Breece Hall injury. He's out for the year, which is bad, really bad for them because it's unfortunate because the rookie was balling. He was playing really good. He had almost 700 yards rushing, and a huge part of his success. They also lost one of their offensive linemen. He's going to be out for the year. So, that's going to be a tough thing for them to overcome. But listen, the defense is legit. They're playing really, really well. We'll see what happens. Number 6, Dallas Cowboys with another convincing win, 24-6 on Sunday. The defense is playing really, really good. Dak Prescott is back. That's why I have him there. Some people may have him a little higher. Not for me. I got to go with number 5, New York Giants, who also continue to find ways to win football games and still will not go away. Week number 6 of the Giants won't go away. What happens is, again, it's a snowball effect, right? You win a couple games and all of a sudden that confidence grows each and every week, and they're becoming a confident football team, and they're starting to make plays and earn these wins. It's not fluky, or they're really legitimately beating teams. At number 4, who I still believe right now is the second best team in the NFC, is the Minnesota Vikings. They also another team continue to win. And again, if you watched and pay attention to what the Eagles did to them in week 2, that win looks better and better each week. And the top 3 teams are the same, slightly different order. I got the Bills at 3. I got the Chiefs at 2, with another spanking against the 49ers. Marco Holman with 3 tutties. Absolute beat.
He's a machine. I'm a big Mecole fan.
Yeah, he's playing really, really well. And listen, Andy Reid, if you didn't know, I mean, he's an offensive genius. Just figures out ways to get his skill guys the ball in good positions to be effective. So, they're number 2 and number 1, no surprise. Because like I said last week, you cannot lose your spot because of a bye week, the undefeated Philadelphia Eagles. That's Brad and Power Rankings.
All right. Let's see. I'm sure there's going to be people here you disagree with, as happens every week.
As long as the Buccaneers and Packers are not on the list.
Listen, if I see a Buccaneers name on here, I'm not even going to bother reading the list to you.
Yeah, I don't want to hear it. Or Packers. Neither one of them. No one should be in any of these lists.
This is an interesting list. This is just an interesting one. This one just kind of weird, so I'll just read it to you, all right? So we have number 10, the Jets. Number 9, Tennessee Titans.
Okay.
Number 8, Baltimore Ravens.
What?
Number 7, Minnesota Vikings.
Okay.
Number 6, Giants. Number 5, Bengals.
Ew.
Number 4, Cowboys. Number 3, Chiefs. Number 2, Eagles. Number 1, Buffalo.
Okay. Not terrible, but not great either.
All right. And that was, by the way, that was the NFL Network.
Okay.
Okay. Now we're going to go over to The Ringer. Okay.
Okay.
Let's go. I got to go down. I want to make sure I want to skim it before I start reading this.
Okay.
Yeah, this one's fine. Number 10, the Chargers.
Okay.
Number 9, Giants. Number 8, Cowboys. Number 7, Dolphins. Number 6, Bengals. Number 5, Vikings. Number 4, Ravens. Number 3, Chiefs. Number 2, Eagles. Number 1, Buffalo.
Okay.
Opinion?
I mean, what was 10 again over there? What was 10 on that one?
Chargers.
Yeah, I didn't like that. I don't think they deserve to be on this either.
So
they're gonna lose. They lost J.C. Jackson also on Sunday. It's a mess over there.
No, his injury is like very bad.
Yeah, they need a coaching change. I really think they just.
He's got Brandon.
You got to find someone to coach Herbert. You need an offensive guy for Herbert.
I agree.
And I think that's just a disaster right now over there.
You ready for Yahoo Sports?
Sure.
Bengals 10, Titans 9, Dolphins 8, Ravens 7, Vikings 6, Giants 5, Buccaneers 4. No, I'm kidding.
I was about to say what?
Cowboys 4, Chiefs 3, Eagles 2, Bills 1.
I can do without the Dolphins and the Ravens. I don't think they need to be. I think we could do better than that. But other than that, not terrible.
You didn't have Tennessee on your list, did you?
I did.
Where were they?
I think I had Tennessee at 8.
Okay, 8. Okay. And who was 9? Who did you have at 9?
The Niners, I believe. Did I have
Niners?
Okay.
Gotcha.
No, I'm sorry. No. I'm looking at last week. Sorry. I had the Bengals at 9. Bengals at 9. Titans at 8.
Okay.
Seattle love on these lists.
No Seattle love. Seattle, for what it's worth, a lot of them had Seattle around like 11, 12, 13. Like just outside.
Just outside.
Here's number 10. This is ESPN, the worldwide leader, okay?
Okay.
Miami Dolphins, number 10. Cincinnati Bengals, number 9. Jets, 8. Ravens, 7. Cowboys, 6. Vikings, 5. Giants, 4. Chiefs, Eagles, Bills.
Yeah, that 3 is never going to really move. Really, it's like until something.
Yeah, it's just which order do you prefer to have?
Right.
Them in. And then we'll go one more. Let's go Bleacher Report real quick. Okay. They always do it in opposite order, so I got to scroll down to the bottom of the page. I hate them. Number 10, the New York Jets. Okay. Number 9, the Tennessee Titans. 8, the Cincinnati Bengals. 7, the Baltimore Ravens. 6, New York Giants. 5, the Dallas Cowboys. 4, Minnesota Vikings. Chiefs, Bills, Eagles.
Okay.
Most egregious one you see on that list? Or I'm sorry, let me rephrase it. Most egregious list that I read. I'm sorry, that was bad. Which one?
Whoever did the Chargers list at 10, I was in love with. The Dolphins Ravens, I think, is not great either. But I guess I'm proud of everyone for finally coming to realization the Packers and Bucks don't belong on any of these lists.
Yeah, the power ranking.
It only took you 2 weeks.
Yeah, the Ringer. The Ringer was the one that you had pushback with.
Yeah. I mean, I don't believe I've had the Bucks or the Packers on about 3 weeks.
Yeah,
so I'm glad you guys finally caught up. Good for you. But that's not football talk. I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't care about football.
I
don't care about basketball.
We love football.
It's funny.
We
The
like
Sixers-
football. Like we're huge football guys here. Obviously,
Yeah.
we have the best. We have the power ranked #1 team,
Yes.
undefeated, coming off their bye week,
Yeah.
hosting their cross-state rivals at home,
Yes.
and neither one of us want to talk about anything
I
besides
don't
baseball.
care. Sixers were on Tuesday. I had them on. I was watching, and I'm like, I looked at Amber. I'm like, I don't think I'm ready for this yet.
No,
I'm
I'll
not
care.
ready for this yet.
I will care about the Sixers when the Phillies are over.
Yeah, like I'll get to them. I'm not overreacting to 0-3. They won Tuesday night.
I do think they got to fire Doc Rivers though.
I'm not prepared to have that conversation yet. I'm not.
I
I'm
am.
not. I'm not looking for any negativity right now. I want to talk all positive. I want to get ready for what's about to happen in a little over 53 hours, 56, 54 hours. I'm
Doc
excited about
Rivers-
that. That's
Doc
all
Rivers-
I want.
Doc Rivers is an a-hole.
Okay. Don't want to talk about it. But I got nothing else.
You didn't push back on it though.
I got nothing else.
It's just, I mean, I can't believe like we have a World Series game.
Yes.
Like we have at least 2, maybe 3 World Series games at the bank.
Yep.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
At Justin Emery Show on the Bluebird app.
Yeah, when we get back, we'll be recapping games 1 through 3 and previewing game 4
Mhm.
and game 5.
Game 4 is Tuesday, correct?
Yep.
Yep.
At Marks Between everywhere.
At Justin Emery Show on the Bluebird app.
At Brad Mary Pod everywhere. BradMichelle.com for the merch. Go see our friends at Vans Jewelers, 232 York Road. And until next time, you can be with us, you can be against us. Never going to stop us. Go Phils.
Red October. Marcus, Red November.
Red November.